Hi everybody, it is time for the happy book. This is part 3. Come on in and sit down and take a look. I hope you'll join me. It's a lot of fun. Okay. So what I did to the book this week is, if you'll remember from the other weeks, this page was empty. I mean, it had the basic. I mean, it looked like just that part right there. But I took colored pencils and I colored in the different leaves, and then I took a water brush, which it has water on this end. I don't know if you can see it. It's got water in there. And then you press it and it has a little bit of water. It comes out, and then you just go like that, twirl it around, and it blends in the colored pencils. So then after that, I took this Mod Podge. It says pearlized glaze, and I'll put the links where I got these down below. But I used this because remember I said it needs to be sealed. Now this stuff does not seal it as well as the regular Mod Podge, so I put several layers on it, but I think it's good enough. In there I sealed that in too, because remember, if you don't seal it, then if water gets on it, I mean, it's ruined. Okay, so after that, you saw that page and that page. Now this was the first prompt. If you saw last week's, I had this on here and this was all crooked and I was gonna live with it, but then I started to try to doodle right under here and I just messed it up completely. Just messed it up. So remember I said that we shouldn't tear pages out, but we can sure put something else on top of them. I mean, this is your book, and if you don't like it, then, you know, do something. Try not to rip it out, but I did something. I put some other paper on top here, and then I just took the original sheet with the prompt on there. Then, because the evilness of the doodling under here came through, I had to I stamped this around here, and then I just colored in some of the stamps. Now over here, if you remember what the prompt was, it says, write things you have accomplished that prior to finishing you were dreading. From the depths of your soul, after writing, cross them off. And I wanted to just share with you a couple of the things I wrote, and I wrote them over here. The first one is, go downtown DC to work when I was afraid of the bus and the metro lines. I had come home from college. There's smoke is in the camera. They'll think a ghost floated by.
It'll go viral.
Yeah, I should have just said ghostly, whatever. Okay, so anyway, I was afraid to go downtown DC. But I had to because I had to work. The Burger King that I worked at through high school would not let me come back to work. They wouldn't let any old employees be rehired. So my next step was I had to go downtown. And the bus stop was right across from my house. So I felt pretty comfortable with that. But then I had to make a connection on the metro. And I was a little bit concerned about doing that at the age of, I think I just turned 18. But I'm so glad I did. I worked at places like the International Monetary Fund, Rolls-Royce, which was a trip. They were all English and very snooty. They were very snooty. You can imagine the British from Rolls-Royce. I did get a little Rolls-Royce key fob out of the deal. But I worked temporary, and I worked at the International Monetary Fund, which was amazing. Hardly anybody there was American. The other secretaries were Australian, Malaysian, I mean, just every other country in the world. And I remember one time I had come in to, I took shorthand in high school, and I placed number 3 in the state of Maryland in high school competition. So if you said you knew shorthand, then they paid you $1 more an hour. So I remember this guy that was a Sir something or other, knighted from England, called me in to do dictation. Well, I was nervous as heck and told him not to speak too fast, and so that's the last time he asked me to do that. But another time they asked me to go get a late city edition of the New York Times, not the early edition, but the late edition. So I had to call downstairs for a car, and when the car was ready, it took me to this one little place downtown, and a little grocery store thing, convenience thing, and the little limousine, but it was just a regular car, dropped me off, and I went in to get the paper and then took it back to whoever needed it. I mean, it was just the most fantastic place to work, and I'm so glad that I got over the fear of riding the metro and the bus and doing all that, because those are memories that cannot be replaced. Yeah, it was really great.
I walked past it several times.
Yeah. I've got lots of stories of things I got to do in Washington and New York City and New Orleans. Maybe those will come out. Then I was about 7 months pregnant, and I remember walking into my mother-in-law's house and telling her, I just can't have this baby. I just can't have this baby. And she looked at me and she said, it's a little too late now. So yeah, I had the baby, and the baby got married in July.
This year, yeah.
Yep, so I guess I could do it. The things that I'm not really looking forward to is a mammogram, but that's got to come up. I'm looking forward to crossing that off. The next one is physical therapy. I did go for the intake appointment on Friday, so tomorrow is the first day that I'm actually going into the water. It's got to be water therapy. I can't do
physical therapy. I thought you were going for psychotherapy.
We're going to need to go to marriage therapy if you don't shut off. That's the therapy we're going to go.
Don't cross me off.
Don't cross you off. And then in the back of the book, I've got just little, I'm putting just my video ideas back here, and I'll cross those off as I do them. So there's that. Okay, so the prompt for this week is going to be really hard to read here. So let me read it to you and show it to you in the book. It's page 165 if you have the book. It says, when hobbies attack. Sometimes hobbies turn stressful. If you took up knitting to relax, only to saddle yourself with an unimaginable to-do list of Christmas projects, knitting becomes a great big chore. Same goes for those of us engaged in any creative pursuit. I have a hard time reading from here. From writing to crafting to drawing to making music. So do yourself a happy favor and use this space to write about why the process of creating is something you love. And then commit to spending at least an hour a day working on something just for the joy of doing it. If you don't have time for an hour, try for 30 minutes. You know, with everybody's schedule. The little book, I like the little book where it's got the little male knitting ball talking to the female knitting ball. It's always got to be about sex. Always got to be about sex.
You're a genderist.
I'm a genderist. I'm genderist by instinct. Okay, everybody, so I hope you'll join in. It's not too late. I'm going to put these up once a week. I'm trying for Mondays, but this is being filmed on Wednesday, so I'm going to put up one a week. All right, I hope you join me in the next one. Thank you for stopping by, and please subscribe and like if you like the video, and share it. I'd like for you all to join me. Bye.